what you should do when there's recession, when there's a negative economy, when there's whatever that's happening that's affecting the economy, is to focus on opportunities, not on fear.
The reality is that your country and the economical situation and the economy of the country needs your business to grow. Because if your business grows, it contributes to the recovery process of that economy. But if your business is in survival mode, if it's not growing, if it's just holding ground, then it doesn't contribute because you're not being more productive. You're going to be less productive because you will have less resources. So it's very important that we change, like you're saying, that mindset from being fearful to saying what opportunities are there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 7X Growth Podcast. My name is Gerold Joubert, here with your co-host as well, Christian Nyembue, and we are so excited to have you here today. This is season 2 of our podcast, episode 1. Previously, you might have known our podcast as the Unlock Your Growth podcast. But we have rebranded, we have restructured, we have recontended, and we have moved. Where have we moved to, Christian?
We moved to Melnin, and our new podcast. You can see the new studio is very beautiful.
No more
levels.
No more lights.
7X.
No more lights with duct tape on them and mirrors hanging from the wall. You know, those kind of things. It was an interesting time, but we are here for a new season with the podcast, and we are really excited. I'm really excited about the value that we plan to bring. We're really putting in a lot of time into this podcast, and we want to make sure that this podcast brings you the absolute most amount of value for yourself and for your business so that you can grow. Today, we're going to be talking about a very important question during this time, and that is how to grow your business during a recession, or in a recession, or during or before or while it's happening.
Very important topic, because these days we know what's happening. Even right now, we can see around the world war in Ukraine, now is Israel. So anything can happen. So it's very important that businesses can be aware of what's happening or what can happen, and how we can still grow, because the focus is growth 7 times.
Yeah, most people, when they hear the words recession, they become scared.
Yeah.
And I mean, recession is a scary name, but the truth is most of the time we don't even know what recession means. And so today we're going to answer the questions: what is a recession? What causes a recession? And then, of course, like we said, how you can keep growing your business. We're not talking about just stabilizing your business, but how you can actually set your business up for growth during a recession. So keep listening. Don't go anywhere. We know that you are going to receive a lot of value, and this might actually save your business if we go into a recession, or if the economical situation continues the way it is right now. So we're going to start off with a little bit of news in the business world. First of all, I want to open up with what we all know is happening this week, or if you're listening to the podcast, this is, as time of recording, 9th of October, 2023. And Israel is at war. And we saw that the oil prices, according to BBC, oil prices have jumped on concerns that the situation in Israel and Gaza could disrupt from the Middle East. So the oil supplies, it's not that Israel and Gaza do not supply oil, but they are on some of the main routes where the oil is shipped and transported internationally. So oil prices actually jumped by $2.25 recently, with the looming fears. So if you are trading, or if you have anything to do with oil or petrol and those things, please make sure to keep an eye on the situation there, as escalating in the situation might also mean that the prices will go up. Then in other international news, global recession fears grow as central banks raise interest rates. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has warned that the world is facing a serious risk of recession, as central banks around the world rise interest rates in an effort to combat inflation. The IMF has cut its global growth forecast for 2023 to 3.2%, down from 3.6% in April. So we're seeing about a 0.4 reduction in the last quarter. We still have 1.5 quarters left to go, so we're yet to see what will happen with the global economy, if it will indeed grow. Other good news is that Africa's forecast is actually above that of the global average. Africa's economies are expected to grow despite the global recession fears, which is very encouraging for us, because guess what? We live in South Africa. I know that's sometimes we forget it's Africa.
But the question is African entrepreneur aware of that?
No.
And ready to take the opportunities, because every time when there's something happen, there's always an opportunity to grow. So entrepreneurs, we have to keep our eyes on what's happening now.
Indeed. And that's why we decided to create this segment, to bring some important news to everybody that's listening, with people that have business interests, and these things affect not only our personal lives but also our businesses. And so this is important. So African economies are actually expected to grow, and Africa's economical growth forecast is sitting at 4.3%.
Oh.
That is a whole 1.2% higher than the global average. And for me, that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Very encouraging indeed. South Africa, on the other side, looking a little bit bleaker, but we are still growing. South Africa's economy grows by 2.2% in the second quarter of 2023. According to the forecast, it seems like we might even see a little bit higher growth in the third quarter, but it depends on how we will finish up this quarter as well. But there is still positive growth, and we are just about 1% below the average global. So hopefully, if things continue the way it is, then we can bounce back and get back to growth. But there's a lot of factors to keep into mind, and some of those things we can't even talk about today because we'll be here the whole day.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into talking about what is a recession. Many times we hear on the radio, there's a risk of recession. You have the financial guys coming onto the radio shows, and they talk about the looming recession or the global risk of recession, just like we read now in the news. And people become fearful just hearing the word recession. But I think for most average people, we don't really understand what a recession means, or why it's such a big deal, or how did we even get to this? What causes a recession? So we're going to look at this definition quickly for a recession. So a recession is basically when a country's economy grows negatively or does not grow for at least 2 quarters at a time. So we know that every year has 4 quarters. It's 3 months in a quarter. And then we quarterly release our financial results as a country to see how we're growing, to track the results. So if a country does not grow, if the GDP of a country is negative or the growth of the GDP is negative for at least 2 quarters, then that is considered a recession. And there are many factors that cause recessions. I'll mention a couple of them. Maybe if you have more on your side, Christian, you can also add. Some of them are economical shocks. When there's large economical events that happen, like natural disasters, financial crises, anything that has a large impact. We saw this with COVID. In COVID, South Africa's economical growth was sitting at minus 6.3%, which was the lowest in, I think, the recent close to 100 years. So that shows you the impact of COVID as
Yeah.
well. And
But-
then, sorry, you can go.
No, you can continue. But other thing that other factors that affect the that cause the recession. It can be as well like the natural disaster or just geopolitics things. Like for example, right now in Israel, there's something happening there. There's a war. So that can affect the two countries who are in the war, but not only those countries, but because there can be as well external factors that can cause a recession, as we were talking about the oil that is going up, meaning that all the people that, even us here in South Africa, we can still suffer with that. Because shipping, transport, and or like fly, all these things will need the oil so that the economy can move. So that can be some of the factors. There's a lot, but mostly if we have to think about a recession and things that can cause it. Recession, GDP, it's according to me the main factor or the main point where we have to look at recession, because when in GDP we see people, we see business, we see government, and we see also banks. So when there's recession, people can't spend because there's so many things that's happening. Example, the price of oil will go up. And when the price of oil will go up, it doesn't go up alone. It should go up with other things like bread, because the shipping, the things the spending. In, for example, if I have a company that ship things to, let's say, to Europe, I will pay almost double or more than normal to ship my things there to Europe. And then for me still have to make money, I have to leverage to hire to put my product that I'm going to sell, they have to go up. So imagine the person who used to buy bread at let's say $1, and tomorrow you go to a shop and now you have to buy it in $2. Plus the noise that's happening now, there's this, the recession is coming with all the news that we hear, and that bring new fear. Because recession it's all about psychology. It's all about the feeling. It's our feelings, our behavior that drive the economy. It's people behavior that drive the economy. So once that starts to drive, people are not willing to spend more. And when people are not spending more, because first they want to save money, because they don't know what is really coming. They don't want to spend. And when they spend, they'll cut their spending or they control their spending so that they can still be in control. And if me as a business, you are not spending, you are not buying my product, meaning that all the people that are working for me, I can't pay them. And then if I can't pay them and I have a loan that I have to pay from the bank, because I got the loan from the banks and I pay them monthly, you see, I can't pay the loan, I can't pay my people. So that's going to be a disaster, because now I have to cut people because I can't afford to pay them. And once you cut, it's unemployment that's now. And then those people who are going to lose their job, still they can't spend, because if you pay someone a salary, that person is going to spend it somewhere else as well, so that business can grow, can make money, and that's all about. So yeah,
that's the multiplying effect, so it stacks one upon the other. And if if the unemployment rate goes up, then that's also an indication of a looming recession, is the unemployment rate in the country, because people that are employed are productive. And if you're not being productive, then you don't contribute to the GDP.
You don't pay
Which
tax, you don't.
Nothing. So which means the productive ratio of the country goes down. And productivity is one of the main factors that determines the health of an economy. How productive are the people? Even in a business, you can work, but if you're not being productive, if you're not producing something that can be exchanged for value, then there is no exchange of money. Money is not flowing. And that is one of the big problems in a recession, is that money is not flowing. Now, the governments are, normally they would intercede into the situation by injecting more money into businesses. Well, they should be creating more opportunities for businesses to join maybe a program where they can get funding from the government, or the government will increase their expenditure on public works, so hospitals and things, all kinds of different public investments to create jobs, and then in turn to inject money into the system. But that does not always happen, and I think that and not everybody benefits from that directly. It's like the recession is an interesting situation because the negative effect hits you almost immediately with everybody, but it takes a long time for you to feel the positive effect once it turns. Like, recovery is a slow road. But it's important for everybody to understand that recessions are a normal process. It's a normal part of the economical cycle. It happens every now and again. I think South Africa went through 2 recessions in 2 years, earlier in the 2020s, and then during just the COVID time as well. It's normal, and some recessions don't last very long. Some recessions can last 6 months, a couple of months, maybe a year, or some of them do last a long time. It depends on how long does it take for the market to recover, for cash to start flowing again, for people to be productive again, for investments to come into the country and into businesses. So there's a lot of those elements, but today we're not going to focus too much about talking about what is recession or what it looks like, but we want to get to the part where we can talk about what can we do as business owners to make sure that our businesses are set up for growth even during a recession. Before we get to that one, maybe I just want to mention a couple of signs that a country is going into a recession. So the first one, that there is negative economical growth. You mentioned it, the GDP that falls, the growth slows down. Rising unemployment, so that's also an indication that people are no longer spending. And also companies don't want to employ more people. I think I was listening to an interesting podcast the other day, and they were talking about how difficult it is when there is a recession for small companies to grow. And they were talking about an element that we don't always consider, which was the element of human capital. That during times of recession, it's hard for startup companies to find good talent, because all the people want to take the safe option, so they run to the big companies. So the big companies suck dry the talent pool, and then the small companies don't have enough people to choose from. They don't have good talent, they can't acquire, and also the people that are available, they want too much, and small companies can't afford that. And there was a study done in America where they found that this was actually one of the big reasons why small businesses fail during recessions, or why they crash when the economy is hard. It's not so much just because they can't get funding, but also because they can't get talent, which poses a very interesting problem that maybe one day we'll explore that a little bit more. So rising unemployment, declining consumer spending, so households are spending less money, for failing business in investments, so businesses are falling rather. Businesses are spending less as well on buying things, investing back into the economy. And then weakening financial markets. You mentioned the markets, so stocks and all those kind of things where we see stock prices, NASDAQ, and the stock prices crashing or going down. And some people even for them, that's an indication that there's a recession coming. Some people put their money there to say, I'm selling because I can see something's happening.
Actually, as well, I think a recession it's a very good opportunity. A very good opportunity. If we can see it, a country economy as a trend that's going up. There is no trend that just go up without retracing down to look for a support so that it can still go high again more. So if we see it like that, I wish we could show the trend. But it's all about how people are feeling in that time. And there's major companies or major corporate companies that control, like we see NASDAQ or even the government, because there must always be a balance. And if the economy is just going up, it's not. There might be a problem as well. So it's a very good opportunity if you can look at it as an opportunity. That's why you were just saying here the start that most small business fell during because the talent and human resources, but it can be as well just then we don't know how to deal with it, because most of the time we know how to deal with good things. We know how to start with business. We have some fund, but we as a small business, there's also a lack of knowledge, because as a startup you are learning. You're still learning. That's why there's mentors. That's why there's coaches, because that's so that they can edge that lack of knowledge. But how many of them they can afford to pay a very good mentor? Not more. Some they start with big money, but they still also that ego of okay, I know it. I'm secure. I have this. I have this. I have this. Because there's still companies that make a lot of money during the recession.
Yep.
A small example, we can zoom during COVID. Everyone now couldn't go to the office. They gave us that opportunity so that we can join online to do.
I didn't even know what Zoom is before COVID. So can you Zoom? I mean, I don't have a camera to zoom in. I don't know.
So there's it's all about how you see, because it's all about how people feel. If people are happy, they will buy a lot. More people spending, more the economy will go up. More people are fearful about what's happening. It can be a disaster somewhere, a natural disaster. It can be somewhere. It can be a war. People become now fearful. They don't want to spend.
Or just news, speculations. It might not even be a real thing. Like, the crazy thing is that a recession can literally be triggered just based upon fear. No real facts or nothing, just people being too fearful. And then money is not circulating. And
they don't want to spend anymore. They now start spending less. And once, because it's a chain and a circle. I buy something to you, you pay someone, and someone will pay someone, and then until it will come back to me again, and that's how. So if I cut that supply, you don't get, and more. There's less supply, but more demand, and then the price now, it's a problem now, you see. But most of the time, and I think all the time, it's the fear. It's the fear, it's emotions, it's psychologically. But a person who, in a small business or just a business who can control that factor of your psychology, like you can calm down and then just take time not to panic. You can resolve already, I think, more than 50% of the problem. I saw. I during COVID, I had another company that I was part of as a director. That's what happened. COVID happened. People that we were helping, they decided to cut the contract. When they cut the contract, now yes, you see, and then people fearful. No, there's this happening. What's this? What this? Now the business. But what's happened is like even ourselves, we panicked, and then we stopped. But what if we could do it? I think there was still an opportunity to do it, but we didn't think about that.
You didn't think growth. You thought
yeah.
You went into survival mode, and that's what happens during a COVID, during a recession, is that people go into survival mode, and we saw this even in COVID. You know, people panic buying toilet paper and milk. You couldn't even cake flour. It was you're only allowed to buy 2 kgs at a time, only allowed 1 pack of toilet paper at a time, because people were freaking out. And that state of survival, where you are just trying to defend yourself, just trying to survive in the situation, you're not thinking about growth. You're not thinking about opportunities. You are just looking for danger. And many companies go into this, not just companies, but even also people, they go into this mindset of, I need to survive. I need to just make it through this. But what if we could have a mindset that says, I want to grow through this. I want to thrive through this. Because the reality is that your country and the economical situation and the economy of the country needs your business to grow. Because if your business grows, it contributes to the recovery process of that economy. But if your business is in survival mode, if it's not growing, if it's just holding ground, then it doesn't contribute, because you're not being more productive. You're going to be less productive because you will have less resources. So it's very important that we change, like you're saying, that mindset from being fearful to seeing what opportunities are there. You know what they say, that, you know, one man's trial is another man's bread, or it goes something like that. But every time that something happens, and we saw this, you know how many people became rich during COVID? I mean, it's ridiculous. The clients, I visited clients, and they're like, yeah, we started this company during COVID. You started a company during COVID? Yeah, now we are millionaires. It's like, what?
One of the example is even us, Oxano. We started this company during the same period of COVID. We started small, but we're where we are right now because we didn't look at the things. Right now, we're talking about what to do. What to do during when there's recession. So, to make it simple, is what you should do when there's recession, when there's a negative economy, when there's whatever that's happening that's affecting the economy, is to focus on opportunities, not on fear. Stay rational. Don't panic. You cannot think if you panic, because once you are fearful, once you are scared, it's like that's your capacity to think is taken away. Because the only way you can survive in a time like that, in the bad time, is when you have all your mind. You can think now about how you can adjust, how you can make grow. Growth come with work. Growth come with thinking. You have to use your capability, your capacity, creativity. So all these things can come only when you focus, you are positive, because focusing in looking for opportunities when there's negative. I used to as I'm still trading, I trade stocks and even forex and currencies. In time like that, I'm not even going to look at how the market is falling. I'm looking for where the market can bounce. I change my strategy. I start to look for support so that, or a trend or somewhere so that I can take my opportunity to buy. That's the mindset, because you are looking for opportunity to buy, to make money, to do something. So that's very important of focusing on opportunity. That itself can just change everything.
That's very important. And also with that, I would say that when during a recession or when the economy is hard, you have to be able to adapt quickly. Because some opportunities will be outside of your comfort zone or even outside of your expertise, maybe. I mean, I literally know about musicians that became, health specialists and people that went from selling cars to selling sanitizers or protective gear, or people that went into mental wellness. And there's somebody I heard on the radio. They started actually there's two people I want to talk about. There's a couple that started, they couldn't go out, so they decided no, they're going to turn their home or the other portion of their home into a guest house. And imagine now during COVID where nobody's traveling.
Yeah.
But they decided no, they see an opportunity. They're going to at this point, they had to even expand twice already on that guest house because it is so in demand at this point. Like, they have grown beyond their capacity. They had to move out the house to get another house to live in and turn that whole thing into a guest house. And they even had to build onto it. And people are still coming more. And there was another person that I know is owner of a large coffee franchise or coffee shop franchise here in South Africa, Plato Coffee. And he said that they also started their coffee just right after COVID lockdowns ended, and they decided, no, they're going to just start selling coffee. He didn't no background, no expertise. They just decided to do it. Now it's one of the most successful coffee franchises in South Africa, probably. And they're doing very well, very popular, especially here in Pretoria, and also opening every now and again in another town or somewhere.
So that's the power of focusing on opportunity, but not in the fear, because they could even like, oh no, I can't.
And being willing to pivot, going from doing one thing and willing to sacrifice what you've built to say, okay, there's an opportunity here. I need to turn my car into a plane. I need to take this business, and yes, we have to morph into something else because there's an opportunity here. But if I'm just so fixed on, no, this is who we are and this is what we do, we're not going to do anything else, or being scared of trying different things, you won't pivot, you won't adjust, you won't adapt. And then, the saying, adapt or die. You'll die out.
Also, for those one who have already their business and they don't want to shift, like the business model, but there's other ways that you can also just try, because recession, it's all about people who are customer that have to buy to you, because you have that business because you want to make money. So someone have to buy your product, your goods, or your service. So the shift here is to focus mostly in the customer.
Yes, exactly.
You can just turn there. And one thing that I always tell people is, when something happen or when you are in the situation that is not favorable or that's not favor your growth, don't be defensive. I will repeat it again. When you are in the situation where that situation doesn't favor your growth, don't be defensive. Be offensive. Active your 10x rule. Apply that 10x or 7x rule. Not 10x, 7x. Apply that. Like, that means that put 7 time effort in what you are doing. And that can be in you. Right now, I want to talk about like how you can still sell during the time. People are not like, no one is buying, but you can come like practically with a way that you can still sell your product or your service. And one of it is you have to have a clear vision, meaning number, how much you have to buy, or how much you have to sell for your business to keep going or to keep growing. You have to have number. For example, if your turnover is, you want your turnover to be, let's say, $100,000 or 1 million, you have to have it in your mind that this is the money that I want to make in this. And that's already also, it's a mind shifting, because you are not focusing now in what's happening, the fear,
the problem.
Yeah, you are now set now in still want to grow. And then from that, you can now see how many product I have to sell for me to get to this $1 million or $100,000. How many of them? And then from that, you can cut it down to how many I have to sell, let's say a week. How many of product I have to sell a day. If you go down with that, already you have a clear. And then from that now, it's okay, there's a problem here. It's a recession. People are not willing to buy. What can I adjust? Here, how many leads or contact I have? Because you have to go 7x. You have to put more. How many contacts do I want for me to sell, to get? I can say, okay, I'm going to send 500 emails for me to sell 5 products. To get to my monthly or my weekly my
goal.
Yeah. So it's all about the vision. And the vision is the long term, because you keep the positive mind, and then you're looking for opportunity. You put more effort on that, because you double, 7 times your effort you put, and then that can be a very good thing, because it's going to help you a lot to still continue to go. And then the other thing that you can do as well, you have to now see, because it's all about people, customer. How much value can I add? During recession, people are fearful to spend, but still people can spend.
They're just spending on something else.
Yes. So you have just to find a way how you can, you said it, how you can adjust, what you can add, how you can get to your people. How
you have to ask the question, like, what is their need? Because maybe their need changed, and sometimes if you don't know if you're not focused on your customer and only focused on the problems, then you won't realize that your customers' needs changed, because during a recession or when the economy is hard, people's needs change. People spend less on luxury items, even though sometimes, the statistics tell us something else. I don't know what. Maybe, but people spend less on wants and they spend more on needs. And if you can focus your company on servicing a need, then you'll always have business. As long as there is a need, there will be business. People spend money, they just spend it differently. They don't just, spend money recklessly anymore, which is a good thing. But instead of going to buy McDonald's every second night, maybe they rather go and buy food to make themselves. But now they realize that the stove they have has not been working. That's why they buy McDonald's every night. So now they are in the market for a new stove. And you're thinking, who's going to buy a new stove during a recession? But there you go. Just understand that people want to cook more, so find ways to sell that product to meet a certain need.
There's a business, there's a story of another entrepreneur who had a shop in the very nice street. But the problem is that street, people were not really, and it was like a little bit hill, like a mountain. So people were not really going up and down there, and he was not making money. He was making money only enough for him to pay the rent and just to survive. And he was okay with that. So what happened? He hired another foreigner guy who was from another country. He was looking for a job just to eat. So he was getting paid by a commission. So what happened is okay, if I want the young guy was like, okay, if I want to get more commission, I have to be creative here. So what he did is okay, they were serving coffee in a different cup. So he started with cup, and they were selling even cups as well. So he went to the owner. He told him, okay, I'm seeing we're serving coffee to this cup, in this cup. What if we take this cup, we just change the cup? We start to it's those nice cup from Arabic, nice design. That's already just changing the cups, shifted the business. And again, it was after a commission. He wanted to make money so that he can, he did what he did. People goes up and down. If when they're going up, they're tired. What if we can put some small chairs outside and some table so that they can sit here before to continue the mountain? You see?
And then sell them water.
Yes. So a little bit shift, and the guy was like, this what's happening? Why all these years I didn't think like this? Because he got used to not making money. He got used to the situation, and then that's a very big problem. So customers, you have to think in the way you can serve them. You can solve their problem. If I'm walking a long distance, and you can give me a place where I can sit there with a cup of coffee for 10 minutes so that I can continue, I'm going to buy. You see? So it's just a little bit adjustment that can change already the business. And now you see what? They're selling cups. Now people are coming and then drink coffee with the same cup, and people now are starting to think, what if I buy myself as well this cup, so that I can be able, even when I'm at home, because these cups are beautiful. They bring now traffic to the cups in the shop.
That's a very good illustration. And sometimes you don't need to change your product. You just need to repackage it. Or maybe you just need to change your sales pitch or change your story. And most of the time, even with clients that we've dealt with, that is the problem. It's not the product. They have great products, but their packaging is not matching the client's need, or their story does not match the client's need. So I love that story.
What experience are you bringing to me?
Yeah.
The experience, it's all about the experience.
And what need are you meeting? Yeah, sure, I want coffee, but I need water when I'm tired. I need a place to rest. Like you're saying, they put that thing in the middle there. So understanding what your clients want is great, but understanding what they need, that's where the money is at. That's where your business is at. Servicing a want should be secondary. servicing a need should be your primary objective. And to do that, you need to focus on your clients. You need to understand who is my clients, who is my ideal client, what is my client avatar, what do they like, what do they dislike, what do they need.
And that's the problem. Most small business, we deal with businesses, we help businesses. What is the most difficult things that we found in that people, when they talk about brand, all they see is a logo.
They don't know who the brand is supposed to be for.
You see, so if I have already my logo, I have my social media and then things, and boom, I go. Even marketing, that's why. Because one of the way of you 7x your business, even in the recession time, it's marketing. Most businesses, they cut the cost.
Statistically, they do.
They cut the
you
cost.
You should double down on your marketing, not cut.
Yes, because you have to do more than usual, like what we were doing. You have to get more clients.
You'll probably lose the clients you have. During a recession, you'll lose a lot of clients.
You have to go for new ones.
And that's why you have to market so that you can get fresh blood into your business.
Yes.
And plus, a client generally has a life cycle. And when the client's money runs out, most likely that life cycle is going to end as well. Unless if they get money again, they might come back. But then their life cycle almost starts over in a way. So you need to bring in fresh blood into the business so that you can have a fresh life cycle, so that you're not just selling a coffee to the client. You're going to sell a cup and water, and 2 cups and 3 cups, and then you're going to sell the coffee so they can take the coffee home. Then you're going to sell the machine so they can make it at home. So, but if you have clients that just come and drink coffee because they have everything else already, they've been your client for a long time, and now they can't buy as much anymore, your business is going to suffer. And if you don't market, new people won't enter you through your doors. You're not going to get new blood, fresh business into your business and into your cash flow. And you need that, because without marketing, how are you going to reach the clients?
So also is as the client or the customer is the center right now, because what we are trying to say right now, the message that we are trying to send to you is you have to shift to a customer center. The customer have to come in the center of the things. And then that comes with the service that you are giving to that customer, the experience, the diversity of choice that we're giving. Because even Starbucks, I think so, or in one of the recession, I think 2000, it was 2008. That's what they did. They changed their packaging things, like it can be just a small change. So it's all about the customer. And then one of the things as well is like, it's very difficult, but it can be you just trying to cut your employees. Those ones that are not giving their best, because it's not to cut everything, but at least 20% of your best, your worst one. Cut them out so that you can still deliver you can keep the good one who can deliver a good work, because only that 20 can still make your business fail. And also even client, we deal with most of our clients are retainers. Some of them, or I'm sure that almost all the business outside there, they experience some bad customers who really don't waste their waste. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Continue.
Or who don't pay. You give them service. You try to give them good service, but they don't pay you correctly. Those ones you have to cut them.
But I'll change that to they don't add value.
They don't add value.
Because sometimes, you have clients that are valuable because they pay you a lot of money, but then you have clients that talk about your business and they bring in a lot of money.
Yes.
And so you have to be careful
Careful
not to,
of that,
this guy, this person is only bringing in 1,000 rand a month, but they're bringing in 20 clients a month as well. So yeah.
If there's value already, that's, if the money that you were supposed to pay me is, let's say, 10,000, but you referring people to me, you are bringing me 100,000. That's value. If I'm even good, I can even.
Well, that client's value actually will exceed most of your other clients.
So those kind of clients are not in the list of worst client.
Yeah.
They're in the list of good clients because they're adding value.
Yeah. So you have to look at the clients that well, it's like the 20-80 rule, which says that 80% of the the other way around. 20% of your business income actually come from only 20% of your clients, but 80% of your work goes to those 80% of the clients that actually don't bring in a lot of money for your company.
That's why I'm talking about 20%, because even in that 80%, there's still those ones that you can keep. But if you can cut those one who are like the last 21 who are not adding value, but they're still taking time, because it's all about customer, the service. If I can cut the 20 West client that are still taking my time and focus in the 81, in that 18, I still have my 20 who are top one, but I can still keep the 60% so that I can at least balance that.
Yeah.
That can still be something very...
Because you have to look at your productivity. It's about being productive, because during a recession or difficult economic times, you have to be as productive GDP, right? It's about the country's productivity. So the same thing with your company. You have to ensure that your company is being productive. So you can't have employees that are not working or not contributing. You can't have clients that are taking up your time, but they're not bringing in money, because productivity is about the time and the whatever element it might be, whether it's money or the multiplying factor. So if you take the amount of time you spend on a client, but they only bring you in, let's say, for example, 10 Rand, right? Or $10 a month, but you spend 6 hours a day on them. If you multiply that time, then you see that the productivity is very low for your company. But if you have a client that, let's say, you spend 5 hours or 1 day in a month on their product or their service that you're delivering for them, but you're getting from them $10,000, that productivity ratio is far higher. So you have to make sure, both in terms of employees, in terms of your company structure, in terms of your workflow in the company, your clients that you spend time on, you have to maximize productivity, because you can't waste any resources.
Yeah, that's really very important. And maybe we can add one more too. And while you are making money, you have to build your emergency fund for at least 6 months. Because not every month is going to be the same. We are in a difficult situation here, difficult economy. So you have to save. And in that emergency fund that you are building, it's going to give you space for you to survive at least for 6 months. But also, if there's opportunity, because at the beginning we said that during this time you have to look for opportunity. But that opportunity can be opportunity of you trying to diversify your business. You still have the business, but you can still go to another one. For example, the example that I gave of a shop that sells cups. We can now start selling coffee. After selling coffee, now we can buy some small chairs and some tables we can put outside so that people can sit. We can buy water. so that people can drink water because the sun is shooting, they can rest. Or we can now start packaging now coffee so that they can make coffee themselves. We can, you see. Or why not? Because when there's recession, the housing, the property business goes down. Why not can find opportunity to buy your own space where you are working, or to buy somewhere else so that you have your own space. You can now do whatever that you want with your shop.
We have to look for opportunities to diversify and to multiply your cash flow income streams. So that you're not, especially during difficult economical times, you cannot be reliant on one or two income streams. And that's the main danger of having, for example, somebody that's working for a salary. If that's your main income and that income closes down, like, you're in big trouble. What are you going to do? And most people, like, we are taught, like, by society, I don't know if it's society or what, but school doesn't teach you about income streams. But I believe that everybody, whether you're just working in corporate or you have a normal job, you own a business, you should have more than one income stream. And so to your business as well. You can't rely, there's a very important, and we have to start closing, but there's a very important factor when your company is being analyzed for your value of your company. One of the factors that will be taken into consideration is how balanced is your client pool. So if you have, for example, 2 clients that bring in 80% of your company's income, the valuation of your company will significantly decrease. In fact, they might not even buy your company because it's too risky. And the chances that if ownership changes, you're going to lose those clients, it's very big.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why those people spend so much money with you. So you cannot have a very focused, or what is the word, centralized client base where you are risking everything on 2 or 3 clients. You have to make sure to diversify that so that you can have multiple income streams, different types of products, different services, so that if this one runs dry, I can focus there or open another one. So it's really important.
Some people started business. I know another guy who started business on online, YouTube, during COVID. He was a student after COVID arrived and couldn't get the fund to support anymore. And what he did, he started a YouTube channel, and he didn't have anywhere to go. And then he started that YouTube channel. And from that YouTube channel now, he created like different source of income. Right now, he's coaching, teaching people things. So you see that even let's just go back to a shop. Why not just in your shop to start to make some videos? How to teach people how to
make coffee. Yeah. How to be a barista.
Yes. So
barista
diversification, it's always, you can make online course. And then mostly, like, that's the innovation. That's where innovation come. You have to innovate. You have to adapt to the economy. And right now, there's AI. That's on top. You have to think like that in the situation. And it's only companies that innovate and multiply and try to come with different strategies, even the way they market and the way they do their marketing. It's only those ones that can survive in difficult time, because you cannot survive if you are just fearful. And one of the main, I can say, the main problem or the main source of problem in recession time, it's the fear, because it's the fear that drives the market down. And then if you just try to think differently, to shift, and that shift can be a small fear, it's going to be there. But it's all about how you respond to your fear. That matter. And then you trying to diversify, it's also a way of you trying to set now pillar for your confidence. Because if I have different source of income, even if this one die, I can still focus in this one. I can still focus in this one. And that gives me already confidence so that I can still anti this. But recession, it's people who knows, the economists, they know that recession comes and goes. The market goes up more than it goes down.
Yeah, that's statistically proven. So there are so many more opportunities to grow your business during recession or even just difficult. And these are things that you can apply. You don't have to wait for a recession to happen to apply these things. Our listeners, you can apply this at any time, even now in your business. You don't have to wait for things to get really bad before you decide to apply these things that we have spoken about. We had so many more things that we didn't even get halfway through everything, but we hope that you did get some great value out of this, and that these tips and these discussions will help you to think differently about recessions or even difficult economical situations as we are in around the world right now. There's some countries in recession, there's some countries not. South Africa is not in one. It seems like we're moving away from it, but there's always a chance. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. But we do not operate in fear. We operate in a mindset that there is opportunities out there, there is clients out there, there are people that need your business, there are people that need your services, there are people that need your expertise, and the country needs your business to grow. So don't be afraid. Don't be focused on yourself. Don't be too focused on what's happening around you on the news. See the opportunity. See this as an opportunity to grow, so that you can contribute towards the overall growth in your country and in your economy and in your community. And when your company grows, your employees will grow. And if your employees grow and your company is growing, your clients are going to be growing. And before you know it, the economy is growing and the recession is over. Thank you so much for listening today from my side. Thank you for listening, and from Christian as well. Maybe a last word from you, Christian.
I can just say mindset is very important in any growth. And this is not only about a business. Even you as an employee, you are working for someone. If the country needs you as well, your business needs you as well. So if as your boss or your boss, you can think the same way, all of you together, you can save the business, you can save the country. I loved what you said. It's like, if that business survive, the country is going to survive. And the only way that we can get out of a recession or a bad situation is by us people to have that growth mindset, to have to be willing to put all our best so that together we can go. Alone, the entrepreneur or the boss alone or that business owner alone, he cannot. That's the reason why you are working for him. That's the reason why if he could do it himself, you are not going to be there. And then think about, because I saw some people as well, it's the problem now, it cannot just be the owner. The problem can just us who are working there for that business, for that company. We don't really productive. Yeah. So in your side as well, you can pass by and then listen to this podcast or see on YouTube or on social media. Think in a positive way and have that growth mindset so that the country, the business, your family, and your neighbors can profit from the growth that can come from where you are. So you are part of the community and it's you.
Yeah. get growing.
Yeah.
Get growing.
We have to.
Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. And join us again next week for another episode of the 7X Growth podcast. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.